Hi, and welcome to Freelancer Showcase, hosted by Slice Creative Network and TETV. My name's Melody Matheny, and I'm the founder of Slice Creative Network. Today, we're here to meet a graphic designer named Cara Levine. Cara, welcome to the show.
Hi, Melody. Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm so happy to see you and to learn more about your work. I'm really excited, so thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
All right, so tell our viewers, what disciplines do you work in, Cara?
I work in graphic design and concept design.
Okay, great. And where are you currently living?
I am currently in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. And if you were offered a position in another place, might you consider taking that or moving somewhere?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, awesome. Can you tell us about some of the places you've worked for in the past, please?
Sure. So I'm kind of more of a recent transplant to themed entertainment. I spent several years working in the hospitality and events industries doing branding and graphic design. And then once I switched into themed entertainment, I did an internship at Universal Creative. And then
Mhm.
my most recent job was with an architecture firm that specializes in international hospitality and entertainment projects, and I was on their branding team.
Oh, sounds like fun. All right, well, let's take a look at your portfolio. Can you pull that up for us?
All right, sure. All right, so before I get into my projects, I just want to say that I'm very passionate about creating inclusive spaces within themed entertainment. So every project I try to push to be more inclusive and accessible. So that's something I'll try to mention as I go through my projects. So this first project here was my team's submission to the Storyland Studios design competition recently. I was on a team of 4, and I was in charge of all of the graphic design and the concept art. So our team, the project we came up with is called Monsterland, and Monsterland is a family-friendly theme park that features all of these very friendly but misunderstood monsters. We wanted to focus on incorporating diverse identities and abilities, so we really tried to view that whole project through a lens of inclusivity and accessibility. Um, so you can see on this slide, this is the logo I created, and then here's a set of character illustrations that I did to represent the main characters for each of the lands in our park. And I wanted to show a little bit of the process I used for creating the key art for this project. So that first image is the like a simple massing model that one of my teammates provided to me. And then I took it into Photoshop and started adding textures. The third image is my initial paint over. And then the fourth image, I always call this stage the glow up because concept art and themed entertainment always seems to glow. So here's a bigger version of that image. This is where I added things like gradients, added all the lights in, added all the finishing touches. And I also created this map for the park. This would be intended to be used as a mobile app so that guests can interact with it and learn more about the various attractions. And I based this on existing mobile apps for different theme parks because it's a visual language that people are already familiar with and know how to read. So I wanted to create this in a way that would be easy for people to navigate and for people to figure out how to use. And as you can see here, we had a lot of fun coming up with all of the programming for this park. So that was a really good time. This is a different piece I created. This is a recent concept art piece that I did for a concept design class I'm taking. The prompt was to design a treehouse. And I just had this idea I wanted to put an arcade in a treehouse in like a really spooky forest. So this followed a pretty similar process to the art I showed on the last project. A simple SketchUp massing model with the addition of some color blocking for this one. And I wanted to try to find a way to make a treehouse accessible. So I came up with these like elevator platforms that are held up by these, held up by the tree roots or these vines. And I really wanted to come up with a solution that felt natural to the environment, felt like it was supposed to be there, as opposed to having accessibility just thrown on at the end as an afterthought. So I was pretty happy with how this one turned out in the end. And then this project, this is called Area 52. Last summer, I participated in the Themed Entertainment Creative Workshop Series Pitch Deck program, and I was on a team of 5, and we were tasked with coming up with an alien walkthrough experience. So this is our project for that, and I was one of the concept artists on the team. So here are some of the pieces I created for our final project, in addition to some of the alien plant life that I had a lot of fun creating. And for this, I was really inspired by artists like Mary Blair, using things like exaggerated shapes, saturated colors, and then these really like chunky, bold textures. So this project here, this was my master's thesis project while I was at SCAD. I wanted to focus on representation in theme parks, and so I did a lot of research on representation and entertainment and what attractions are currently like in the themed entertainment world. And I just noticed that there's not a lot of female protagonists other than princesses. And I just thought it would be fun to explore a different type of female character. So anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I kind of used Buffy, wow, as a case study to show how we could represent a different type of female character in a theme park. I really want to include more stories about women and also stories where the audience is predominantly made up of women. So this is a conceptual park map that I made. Anyone who's watched the show should recognize all of these locations. And then this is some of the concept art that I made for the various attractions. And this is a similar style that I used to the last project I showed. And this is a style I like to work in a lot. So this is all vector-based. I created it in Adobe Illustrator, and then I brought it into Photoshop and painted over it to add some texture and add some dimension. And then these are just some, I had to use my graphic design skills in here. So these are just some t-shirts I mocked up for the project. And something fun, the last shirt there, the Slay All Day shirt, I actually produced a bunch of them, and my family and I all wore them to my SCAD graduation. So this is a little different than what I've shown so far, but it's something I'm also very interested in, and that's graphic prop design. So these are some props I designed for a movie that was filming in Savannah while I was there at SCAD. Some of the things that I did for the film would be photo manipulation. So those first 2 photos in the top left, those are face swaps. I made a bunch of fake documents, fake driver's license, fake newspapers, fake license plates. I also created some logos and branding for these different fake locations, and also some signage for those locations. So this is just another area that I am also interested. And that is the end of my portfolio.
Great job, Cara. I love to understand your thought process through the whole thing, and you did a great job of explaining your thought process and showing your thought process. So great job. I enjoyed looking at your portfolio. Let me ask you this: the Monsterland, what kind of demographic was that for? Was it like all types of people, or was it more child focused?
Definitely child focused. We wanted it to be a family friendly theme park because our initial idea was to introduce these different identities and these different personalities to a very young audience, and just incorporated it in a way that felt natural for little kids, but also fun for adults.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing. I enjoyed that very much. I wanted to ask you a couple more questions. You mentioned at the very end, you're talking about the prop design, the prop graphics design, which I also very much enjoyed. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have any other disciplines that you work in or interests that you'd like to share with the viewers?
Sure. Well, other than that last slide, which I showed you, I also just want to say that I'm really interested in spooky stuff. So Halloween related events, haunted attractions, obviously monsters, and you can kind of tell from my portfolio a little bit, but I love all that stuff, and it's my dream to be able to work on Halloween stuff year round.
Cool.
So just wanted to, put that out there.
All right, perfect. Thank you. What programs do you work in?
So I'm proficient in the Adobe design software, so Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. I'm also pretty comfortable in AutoCAD and SketchUp, and I'm currently working on learning Blender and Unreal Engine. So trying to expand my 3D skills.
Right, that's a great round number of programs that you're working with. That's wonderful. Okay, and if our viewers would like to get in touch with you or contact you directly, what's the best way for them to do that?
Either email or LinkedIn, and both of those are listed on my portfolio website.
Which is what?
It's caralevinedesign.com.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you. We got it right up there on the screen. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Cara. I very much enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better and your work. So thanks.
Yes, thank you for having me. This was fun.
All right. All right. And for those of you out there who would like to get in touch with Cara or would like to see and understand what other types of freelancers we have in our community, please visit us at slicecreativenetwork.com. Thanks.